Hey there, this is Jim Bernica with the Firefighter Cancer Consultants. A few weeks ago, I talked about gross decon on the scene. Well, today I want to talk to you about decon when you get back to the firehouse. So, our fire's out. We made it back to the station. We got a ton of cleanup ahead of us. We're not going to be able to go right back to bed like we all wish we could. So, let's start with our gear. Let's grab that. Let's throw that in a gear washer as soon as possible. Um, but that's not my only concern when it comes to gear. It's not just our gloves, our hood, our jacket, and our pants. Something we often overlook is our helmets. So we need to make it a point that we actually clean the outside of our helmet. I know it's a badge of honor, but let's make it a point. We need to clean that. We also need to clean the interior of that helmet, the liner, and also the flap. Those things we often overlook, and those are areas of high absorption for these toxins. That's why a lot of times you end up seeing firefighters who get skin cancer, and it goes right across their forehead where their helmet sits. So make it a point to wash that as well. Once our gear is done, we still need to put another gear on in case we catch another fire, catch another run. So ideally, perfect world, you have a second set of gear. But I know that's not always the case. So hopefully you get to a backup set of gear, or even wear another firefighter that's close to you in size. Again, I know that's not ideal, but it's better than putting on that gear that we just had that's contaminated. Also, if it's wet, there's a good chance that we can end up getting steam burns on it. So once we get our gear situated, it's important that we take care of the rest of our apparatus. We need to get that in service. So loading hose, fueling our fans, those are all things we have to, I know, do. Not at every fire, but some fires. It's also important that we take time to wash our SCBA. We get that good to go for not just ourselves, but also the firefighters that are coming on after us. Um, it's also important to clean the interior of the apparatus. If we wore any of that stuff in there, we got to clean it off. Vinyl seats are a lot easier to clean than cloth seats, so just make it a point if you're specking out an apparatus that has cloth seats, it doesn't cost that much more for vinyl, and it's a lot easier to clean. But once we get all that stuff in service, now it's time to get ourselves in service. In a perfect world, we're able to stay out of service to get ourselves in service. So now at this point, let's take a shower. Let's get a good quality shower and also a change of clothes. What's the point of taking a shower and putting on dirty, contaminated clothing? There really isn't a point. Also, when you have those clothes, perfect world, you have a clothes washer and dryer at the station. You can throw that in. You don't want to take this stuff and put it back in your normal personal washer and dryer at home with your family's clothes. That's not what we want to do. So beyond that too, once we get the shower done, another option, and this is something that's pretty big in Europe, it's getting larger in Canada and it's slowly trickling down to the States here, are infrared saunas. And the idea behind that is our body just absorbed all these chemicals and carcinogens. And the infrared saunas basically reverse that. We sweat all this nasty stuff off, um, out of our bodies. A lot of times, you catch a fire, you have that smell. You have that I was in a fire smell for 2 or 3 days. Well, these saunas are going to get rid of that, and they're not very expensive. We're talking anywhere from 5 to 15 grand, depending on the size you end up getting. Um, a lot of times they'll have cycles in there, like little bicycles, and the idea is you just are on those um, at a casual speed, and you just sweat all that stuff out for 40 or 45 minutes. If you don't have sauna cycles at the stations, which most places don't right now, you can always go to a gym as soon as you can after your shift, and I think you'll be amazed at the stuff that comes out of your skin. So again, we got to make it a point when we get back to the station. We got to get ourselves in service. That means getting our gear washed, getting ourselves washed. So I think that's about it for now. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.